Hello, everyone. Welcome to If I'm Being Transparent, a mini series where I invite you to join me on a journey of self discovery and vulnerability. In this series, I'll be sharing my true feelings, thoughts, and experiences, and I hope that by being open and honest, I can create a safe space for all of us to reflect on our own lives. As someone who's always tried to put on a brave face, it's not always easy for me to be transparent about my feelings. I'm honest, but not really transparent, if that makes sense. But I believe that it's in these moments of vulnerability that we can find true connection and growth. So I invite you to join me as I explore my thoughts, emotions, and experiences, and let's navigate this journey of transparency together. In this series, I'll be discussing topics that are close to my heart, from self-care and mental health to relationships and personal growth. My goal is to create a space where we can have open and honest conversations and where we can support and uplift each other. So let's get started on this journey of transparency together. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts and feelings with you. So if I'm being honest, if I'm being transparent, I'm not ready for this one. But let's go. All right, y'all. So if you got the invite and checked out the website, you know the spiel. So let's get into it. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to If I'm Being Honest, the space where we say the quiet part out loud. Today's topic: me not being friendly in my older years. Look, as a Christian, we are called to treat all people with love. I get that. I do. And if I'm being honest, all the years of being a doormat, need I say a punching bag? Dare I say a catch-all for those trained in bully economics? All those years have gotten me exhausted. So let's talk about how this shows up in my life. Number one, I'd rather text than talk. Let's be honest. Even my husband gets tired of my voice after a while, and so do I. Just text me, I'll respond. Even a voice note will suffice. But that awkward, well, I gotta go moment, that gives me more anxiety than I care to discuss. I'd rather skip the whole song and dance and really just not be on the phone. Again, that was not me several years ago. I just think as I get older, there are things that I no longer tolerate, and maybe the things that I thought I enjoyed, I no longer enjoy. So number two, after living in Boston for nearly 2 years, I don't say hi to anyone. Not on the street, not on the train, not in the elevator, not in the store. People are so mean. So I'd like to save myself the heartache, real talk. If I'm being honest, this is only one of the many encounters I've had with rude Bostonians, or as they proudly call themselves, massholes. Mass for Massachusetts. Anyways, one winter I was on the train and this guy stares a hole into my head so long that I had to look up from my book, and I looked back at him and I smiled. He just continued looking at me, like literally daring me to say hi. He was looking at me like I asked him for his social security number. It was then that I knew it had to be the winter and the screeching loud train that made him fixate on me with no change in countenance. By spring, I stopped trying. East Coast winter isn't just the weather, it's the people. That's Boston for you. And it stuck with me. Also, if I'm being honest, I don't like to greet folks at church when it's time to get up and talk to people. I just rather them come to me. I don't feel like that's being elitist. I just don't like doing it because I don't want to be forced to hug somebody or talk to somebody. It just feels weird. Also, recently, this church I've been going to, they have us pray with other people, maybe somebody that you don't know when it's time to pray. And I usually don't do that. I'll just stay in my pew. And if I'm being honest, I tried to emerge from that. I tried. I've got two quick stories that I want to tell you guys about when I tried to talk to people and get out of my little bubble and I tried to pray with folks. Spoiler alert, it did not cure me, okay? So story number one, this stems from actually when I was in Boston as well. I had gone to this church. I didn't know very many people there. We, it was a call to prayer, altar call. I went up, I was in my emotions and whatnot. And, was crying, whatever, but I didn't have any tissue. And then there was snot and all of this. This lady comes and she just wraps her arms around me. Now, some people would love that. I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy being in close proximity. And she just continues to like push my head into her bosom during the prayer, so much so that I was like suffocating. It was hot in there. I'm starting to sweat. And then, of course, there's snot coming down because I'm crying. And she's like wiping it with her head rag, like her scarf. And I'm like, this is too much. Like, this is too much. I didn't want to be rude. But like it turned my moment, like the moment that I was having with me and God and whatever. It was just disastrous. And I was like, I try my best to not show any emotion, like because like in church, because I'm like, I don't need you to comfort me. Like, just let me have my moment. Right. So anyways, as I've gotten older, I've just gotten like, when it's time to greet people, I just stay in my pew. People come and say hi, I say hi or whatever. And I started to feel like, okay, I'm being really rude. Like, especially like, this is the Lord's house, do better. I call myself, well, I call myself getting out of my comfort zone because I felt like, okay, I don't be rude, right? So I don't want to be rude at church. And then it's like, okay, if you're going to be nice at church, you have to be nice everywhere. So this one day I called myself, you know what? I said, I'm just going to smile at everybody that I pass by. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to say good morning, blah, blah, blah. And that day, I purposely decided to do that. I wanna say that I ran into, like, 5 or 6 people, coming from work, my building, and just out and about. And every single person that I was like, "Hi, how are you?" Or, like, smiled at, looked at me like I had 4 eyes, like, and I don't wear glasses. So, it was like they were like, "Why are you talking to me?" And I was like, "Yep, see, that's the reason why I stay to myself." So, another little story happened. Again, situation, I was in church and they said, pick somebody to pray with, somebody that doesn't have anybody, blah, blah, blah. And so again, it was like, get out of your comfort zone. Don't be that girl. So this one lady, I don't know her. She had came in and she looked at me and smiled at me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to her because she seems friendly. She was praying by herself. So I go over there. I was like, would you like to pray? And she was like, I prefer to pray by myself, if that's okay. Thank you. Very kind, but I was like, yep. Embarrassed. Embarrassing. I got out of my seat to go over there and it was like, nah, reject. Go back to your pew. And then I just look really stupid. Yeah, we shouldn't care about how we look. But anyways, that was just me thinking like, this is why I don't do these things. Number 3 reason why I just want to be left alone in my old age. Not that old, but anyways. Number 3, in professional settings, namely work environments, I tend to be very direct and cold. I'd hoped it would guard me from the destroyer of dreams that is the workplace in aggregate. But if I'm being honest, work relationships feel like one big reality show. And it's not the cute, let's bake a cake kind. I'm talking Survivor or Naked and Afraid, Real World, or Big Brother. Let's break it down because the premise is the same. Survivor, you get dropped on an island with strangers and you got to form alliances just to not get voted off. Sound familiar? Every team project, everywhere. Naked and Afraid, you're stripped of resources, thrown into the wild, and told to perform. That's Q4 with no budget and a new manager. Real World, this is the true story of 7 strangers picked to live in a house. Except it's a cubicle farm and the drama still finds you at the water cooler or everywhere. Big Brother, cameras everywhere. Somebody's always watching you, and one wrong move gets you evicted. That's Slack, Blink, Teams, and performance reviews. The common thread, you're forced into proximity with people you didn't choose, competing for limited resources while somebody's narrating your downfall in the confessional. And in the workplace version, the prize isn't millions of dollars, it's keeping your job, your non-paying job, I might add. So yeah, I show up direct and cold because if I'm being honest, I'm not trying to get blindsided in the tribal council that is the Monday staff meeting. I'd hope that would guard me, but all it's good for is labeling me as the angry Black woman. Don't you just love that trope? At any rate, if I'm being honest, I don't say these things prescriptively, just descriptively. This is where I am, not where I'm preaching you should be. And I'm hoping truly to go into my 40s as a nicer, more well-rounded people person with a great set of boundaries, I might add, but an even greater sense of forgiveness and grace for myself first and then others. So that's it. That's my honest. What about yours? If any of this hits home, text me. Don't call or voice note me. Let's talk about it. Nah, but seriously, leave a message, comment, like, and let me know what are the things that are changing for you as you get older. Until next time, be honest, even when it's not cute.